And needless to say, this one kept in line with the same problems I had last time, and they actually accentuated it.
So yeah.
If that was even possible. But it was. Well done.
Welcome to America is a comedy film that is a sequel to the 1988 film Coming to America. The film stars Eddie Murphy as Prince/King Akeem, Arsenio Hall as Semi, Jermaine Fowler as Lavelle Johnson, Shari Headley as Queen Lisa, and Wesley Snipes as General Izzy.
Essentially, this movie is a rehash of the first one. The plot line's very similar, the ending is very similar. No, it didn't really have much to it. So Akeem, who's now king instead of a prince, needs to go find his long-lost son in America. I think the movie could have been better named.
Yeah, like Coming to Zamunda would have been a better name for the movie, actually, surprisingly.
It just follows the trial and tribulations of finding a loved one and, someone to settle down with and complicated family dynamics.
Instead of Akeem looking for love this time, it's his son that he had before he met the Queen. He goes to America to fetch his son, but it's 2 minutes of the movie, and then it's his son in Zamunda, and that culture interaction as opposed to Zamunda America culture interaction.
In some ways it was juxtaposed, but I think in more ways it was just the same. So it's just starting off with the good, and just want to let you guys know it's not a lot. I thought the costumes were great. The colors were amazing. You can see they spent a lot of time in that. And obviously the visual effects were better because the palace didn't look as fake as the last time.
But the lions looked terrible.
The lions, sometimes they were okay, sometimes they were pretty bad. But in general, I liked that. It was much better than the first one.
Another good thing we can give this movie is it was a more complete story. One of our complaints with the first movie is we got 90% of a movie, then we just jumped to the end and we missed that final resolution. This at least had the resolution. I'm not saying it's a good story, but it's a complete story.
Yeah. And I think the love story was actually better in this movie than in the first one.
So then looking at the bad. The movie was very predictable because it tried to follow the same jokes and follow the same storyline. And even the stuff that they didn't was very predictable. It wasn't funny, in my opinion. Everything seemed to fall flat. I didn't see any joy in it.
I think that the Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy duo was not present.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like they had that, buddy relationship. And I think in the first movie, a lot of what was funny was their interactions with each other. In this one, it was completely missing. I mean, Arsenio Hall barely was evident in this movie. I was surprised he even came back to the movie, but anyways, we won't talk about that. So he wasn't really integral, and I think I missed that dynamic relationship that they had in the first movie.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, going off into my big problem with this movie, and it's the same problem I had with the first movie. There's still status rape in this movie. They don't even hide it. I think it's mentioned 3 times in this movie. In the last one, it was only mentioned once. And the newfound prince is supposed to be, American and 21st century, still falls into the same trap of status rape. It's not said directly, but it is heavily implied that he sleeps with the 3 servants. And I didn't like that because he's supposed to be more activistic and, civilized, I suppose, in that way. And yet he does the same thing in the first day. There was also that scene in the barber shop I was really uncomfortable with because the old guys were making jokes around the fact that they can't sexually harass and abuse women anymore. Because, women have some rights, God forbid. Men can't just touch and pull and do what they want to women anymore. It's so sad that we need to reminisce about this. And then, lastly, the date rape with Eddie Murphy's character.
Yeah.
How that is funny, I don't know. How that is integral to the plot line of this movie, I don't know. They could have had the exact same thing, but had it been consensual and still had to do silly things when they slept together because it was before he met his current wife, the Queen. There was no need for that to be placed in the plot line. I don't understand why they need to make that funny and why they need to make that a joke. Because to me, rape is never funny. And I know some people complain about the sexually harassing priest,
Yeah.
the pastor, but he was okay to me because we could evidently see the wrongness in what he was doing. In this movie, the status rape, the sexual harassment jokes against women, and even the date rape are just made to be some sort of funny thing. It's not something that we are meant to take seriously.
Yeah.
And that disturbs me. How other people do not see the status rape and the sexual harassment issues in this movie is beyond me. And why these amazing actors, because, I mean, this was a star-studded cast.
Yes.
Amazing people in this movie. How they signed on to a movie that makes fun of rape as much as this movie did, it's just beyond me. I don't understand how anyone thinks that rape is a joke. If you sit across someone who's been raped and you talk to them like I have, counsel them, you'll quickly see that this is not funny. And anyone who doesn't think that is rather stupid.
Overall, the one thing you expect from a comedy is to laugh. Laugh, didn't enjoy the movie. Not a great comedy. We mentioned the stellar cast earlier. You have two of the greatest voices of all time in Morgan Freeman and James Earl Jones in the same movie, and it had to be this movie.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just so sad. And if you want an honest opinion on how good the movie is, after half an hour, I probably would have stopped watching if we weren't doing the review.
And that's not only because I'm upset over the fact that I think rape is funny. It's just that the movie was bad. Even without that, it was bad. I don't think it was worth watching.
No, it really wasn't.
It feels like to me that Eddie Murphy missed his glory days and wanted to have this huge reunion. And, you know, I like the fact that they're doing representation.
Yes.
But could they not give us a decent movie in the process? You know, give great representation. Don't make rape a joke and make a funny movie in the process, you know? I know some people may get a little offended that I get upset with this in the movie and the people say it's just a movie. But the problem is that these people have status, these people have power, and they influence the youth who are now going to think that status rape and date rape and all of that is just funny and not to be taken seriously. Because there's no repercussions for any of these actions. So I just won't give this movie a rating. I don't think it's worth watching. And in fact, I wish I never had.
So if you've actually seen this movie, there were quite a few big names in it. Let us know. Who was your favorite guest appearance?
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.
Later.